Chuck Swindoll, our pastor, has a great quote that I found. It says, "In our rough and rugged individualism, we think of gentleness as weakness, being soft and virtually spineless. Not so. Gentleness includes such enviable qualities as having strength under control, being calm and peaceful when surrounded by a heated atmosphere, emitting a soothing effect on those who may be angry or otherwise beside themselves, and possessing the tact and gracious courtesy that causes others to retain their self-esteem and dignity. Instead of losing, the gentle gain. Instead of being ripped off and taken advantage of, they come out ahead." So in my studies, I learned that there are 3 different components to gentleness. And in one way or another, Elizabeth George covered this in her chapter. But I wanted to go through each one of them a little more deeply. So there was submission, humility, and teachability. Can I just tell you, for days, I was like, God, please don't make me talk on submission. I'll do teachability. I mean, humility is hard. That's a convicting one too. But the submission thing, I don't know. We just get really scared of that as wives. We don't like that word, submission. It's a really bad word. It's not a bad word, but sometimes we think of it as a bad word. So submissiveness is complete surrender to God's wills and ways for my life. And Beth Moore, her definition was to stop fighting God. And I thought that was great. To stop fighting God. We have this dog. Her name is Honey. She's a big, full-grown yellow lab. But she's giant, and sometimes she gets into the house. And our dogs aren't supposed to be in the house because I've got 10 kids in the house. Why do I want 2 dogs in the house? Most days I only have 10 kids. Sometimes I've got more than 10 because the 10 bring in more, There's a few times when she's in the house and we don't want her in the house. For the most part, we can, honey, get outside, and she will go outside. Well, when we really don't want her in the house is when we're fixing to leave, because we're not going to leave her in the house. She's not very well potty trained, and she goes to the same bedroom every time if she can't get someone's attention. She was in the house, and what she does, she runs in and she goes under my desk, and we have to drag her out. So one day we were trying to leave, and we really need to leave right now, and I did not have time to be nice to this dog, and she was really irritating me. And so I picked her up under her front legs. So I am dragging her through the house, and her front legs are out here, so they're like grabbing on to whatever. And her back legs are just digging into the carpet. I just knew I was bringing carpet with me the way she was digging in. And she's so huge, and so she was and finally, the closer we got to the door, it's like she finally gave up and said, okay, fine. And then she let go. She relaxed and went on out the back door. This is the picture I have in my head, though, of me fighting God. He has something he wants me to do, and I'm like, no way. I do not want to do that. I'll kick my feet, and I'll scream, and I'll throw my fits. And then after a while, we just kind of go, okay, I'll do it. It'd be much easier on my dog Honey when she just submits the first time and goes outside. No one has to grab her by the back of her neck or drag her out the door or anything. And over time, she's learned that. I don't learn very quickly, and so I still seem to find myself fighting with God on different issues. Another definition I found for submissiveness, it says that as someone matures in gentleness. As we mature in gentleness, we stop fighting with God, and the surrendering will begin. That's one of the components of gentleness, that's just one thing we do. We stop fighting with God because we just know that when we completely surrender to His ways, it's just so much better for us. In the midst of our greatest trials, when we surrender to His will, we will experience Him in ways that we never would have experienced Him before. We still go in kicking and screaming sometimes, but then once we're there, it's so great when God can just give us a little sense of His purpose and plan, and we can just experience him in a way, see things that he's doing that we would not have seen before. And it is a wonderful thing.